Max, it's the festive season, and I'm going to sound like a Grinch. I hate this time of year. I really do. It's not the traffic at the malls. It's not even Michael Bublé with his bloody Christmas albums. It's the questions about holiday pay. Oh, God, every year. So this year, I'm coming to the source. I'm coming to you, Max. Now, we've got a particular circumstance with Christmas, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, all falling on weekends and being Mondayized. What does this mean for employers? What responsibilities do they have? What do they have to do? Take it from the top.
Let's get it from the start. It is complicated. It is difficult. So what happens is Mondayizing means that if the public holiday falls on a Saturday, and it will twice this year, over those Christmas, New Year breaks. So it falls on a Saturday, then it's moved to the Monday. If it falls on a Sunday, then it's moved to the Tuesday because Monday's already taken up. So we're moving the Saturday and Sunday off to Monday, Tuesday. Now, that's for workers who are normally work Monday to Friday. And that's where we all assume that everyone does that. You accountants, you guys only work, Tuesday to Thursday, isn't it?
Oh, only on alternative weeks, mate. Most of the time, it's Wednesday afternoons.
Yeah, and you pretend to work right through. Yeah, I know. Go on.
So, if we're Mondayizing those holidays, or Monday and Tuesdayizing those holidays, does that mean that we are paying people extra on that Monday and Tuesday if they are in fact working? How does that work? How do we determine what to pay them?
Okay, so when those people they're entitled to a day off, and so you give them those days off on pay. That's the obligations of an employer. Right. Now, if they worked on one of those days, so if they worked on a public holiday, and that will relate to a lot of cafes and restaurants, and
accountants,
a lot of people work nowadays. Yep, that was a joke, folks. So if they'd work on the particular day, the employer's got to pay them rate and a half. So every hour they work, they should get their rate plus another half again. So that's every hour they work. Now, if that would normally be their day, as it would be, then they're also entitled to a day off in lieu. That's not the lieu that you're going to be thinking about, Dave. That'll be the day off that they can have an alternative day. Because what the purpose of the act is that everybody will get 11 public holidays. That's the idea of it. Those people that work full time will get that. Okay. So there is a lot of complications in here for those people that don't work full time.
Sure. How long, if I'm given a day in lieu, how long have I got to use it? Do I have to use it up within a certain time frame?
Your employer needs to keep an eye on it, and there is a requirement. It is taken. It accumulates if you leave the employee. If the employee does leave, then that is treated as a day that is owed to a day's pay, which is owed to that worker.
And so can that be paid out? Could that be paid out if the employer wasn't leaving? Could it be paid out to them?
Only if they're leaving. No, you can't pay it out.
Even by mutual agreement?
You could have an agreement with that particular worker,
okay,
one-on-one, but again, you might be in violation of the act. So the idea would be to make sure that people do take those holidays. The idea is to make sure people have rest and relaxation.
Sure. Okay. And look, for those who know me, they probably know me as a really miserable slave driver. So I'm planning on getting my team to work through. I don't care about Christmas Day and New Year's Day. You bloody go and work your tail off. Can I make my staff do that? Because it's like a mutiny out there. Can I make them work, or have they got the right to say no? I don't want to. You can't make me.
Also, first off, folks, for the truth, Dave's not that bad. But anyway, let's get back into it. If you did want to force your staff into it, the only way you can make them work a public holiday or Christmas Day is if the contract says so. So if you've already agreed with them on the commencement of their job, saying, will you work public holidays, you can force them to. Now, the other thing is you can also come to an agreement with a worker. If it's not in the employment agreement and you approach them and say, would you work public holidays? And they said yes, well, that's fine. If they said no, it's tough luck for you, Dave. You got to go back to work.
Oh, don't make me do it. I don't want to work on public holidays. I was looking forward to putting my feet up. What about if I have employees who only work weekends? So back to your example of a cafe, got some staff who just work Saturday, Sunday. What happens this year, given that it's going to be, Christmas Day and Boxing Day?
So for those particular staff, it's treated a little bit differently. So what will happen, the employer is required to recognise the public holidays falling on the Saturday and Sunday. So it's their work. Look, I could say restaurants probably do that quite often. They have casual staff that just come in on the weekends. So it is a real situation. So in that particular case, people, you would have to treat that the Saturday and Sunday as the public holiday, where again, same rules apply, rate and a half if they're working and a day in lieu if they are there.
Okay. And if they don't, then it's just a regular paid day.
You got it, man. Yep.
Right, gotcha. Okay, so what about if we look at some of the, what's the right term? The employers with 0-hour contract employees, casual employees, what have you. And particularly if their employment agreement says casual, even if they have a regular pattern of work, what are they entitled to?
Well, first off, the 0-hour contracts are illegal, but certainly they do exist out there. So if a person doesn't have regular hours, and we would call them a casual in the real world, and yet the Act doesn't talk about casuals. So if it's hard to define, because let's get down to the technical words. So what would normally be what would otherwise be a working day for that employee? That's the words of the Act. What would otherwise be a working day for that employee? So if you got a casual that comes and goes just as you need them, but Monday or Tuesday, how do you determine that? That's your question, Dave. And the answer to that would be, you've got to work out if there's been a pattern, who's worked on that particular day, like a Saturday or Sunday, in the few weeks leading up to it. And if that has been a pattern emerging, then you have an obligation to pay them. Now, a lot of disputes come out over this, and there's been quite a major one within Wendy's restaurants, for example, whereupon I think they used a formula of saying, if you work the previous 3 weeks running on a weekend, public holiday fell on the weekend, well, then you would be paid for it. And the authority said that wasn't good enough, but they never told us what was good enough. Ooh. And so it's a bit difficult. So be cautious, folks out there. Unions particularly involved, they will come after you. But the other one is, make sure you realize that some people do have entitlements.
Okay. Any other traps that we need to be aware of with holiday pay for staff?
There would be a myriad of them, but we'd be here all day, because holiday pay is certainly just racks them up, and there's a lot of unusual circumstances. For example, some people only work public holidays, race day, for example, and they only work one day a year. How are you paying them, and what's their circumstances? These are the questions. For the facts, you come and talk to Max. That's the big time sign up behind me. Now, how's that for an advert?
Oh, goodness me. Shameless self-promotion. I love it. I love it. Till next time, everyone. Thank you very much, Max.
Talk to you soon, folks. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it, mate.